When I was 15, my parents branded me as unstable and locked me in their basement, claiming it was for my safety. But I turned the tables by secretly documenting their twisted actions and exposing their lies to the world. It all started with a small mistake, shoplifting a pack of press-on nails from CVS. I was lucky the store didn't press charges, but my parents? They went nuclear. Not in court, not to the cops, they went straight to abandoning me. They gave up their parental rights in a drawn-out legal process, fabricating stories to justify it. They paid relatives to say I was a danger around their kids and even bribed my little sister, Emily, who was only 8, to claim I'd threatened them with a kitchen knife. I spent my 16th birthday stuffing my life into black trash bags, tears streaming down my face. As I packed, Emily ran into my room. I thought she'd hug me like she used to when we were kids, but instead, she asked for $1 before I left. My heart shattered as I handed it to her, knowing that once I was gone, my parents would turn their cruelty on her. "Thanks," she said with a wave, then darted off. I tried to convince myself I was better off leaving, that a foster home would be a fresh start, but the pain was unbearable. To cope, I popped nicotine mints constantly and clung to the torn ear of my childhood stuffed dog, Teddy, a relic from when life felt safe at age 4. The foster home was a nightmare, not because it was worse than my parents' house, but because my hopes for a new beginning were crushed. The foster dad was a red-faced, bald man whose permanent scowl was etched into his forehead. His wife, Martha, had a face frozen in a stern grimace, like smiling was against her religion. I walked in trying to stay positive, complimenting their home to break the ice. Martha stormed toward me, and for a split second, I thought she might hug me. Instead, she screamed, "No yelling in this house." Ironic, since she was the one shouting, her spit flying as I dodged it. Her husband pointed to a wall and barked, "Wall it." I thought it was a joke, but no, they forced me into a wall sit until my legs collapsed as punishment for yelling. That night, I met my roommate, a girl who'd been disowned for trying to poison her mom's food over some twisted obsession with her stepdad. I kept my distance, thinking, "Stay far away, please." The next morning, there was no breakfast. The foster parents explained they were saving the child support money, so each day, one kid went hungry. Cool system, right? Trapped again, I started fantasizing about running away, imagining life on the streets, anything to escape. But then a better idea hit me, pure genius. I decided to act like I had a serious mental illness. I'd pause mid-sentence, glance over my shoulder, and whisper, "Not now." At dinner, I'd argue with invisible voices, rocking back and forth, begging them to stop. I scribbled creepy notes, disjointed words, sketches of eyes watching me, warnings about them coming. After 2 months, the foster parents started recording my behavior, calling for emergency psych evaluations when I locked myself in the bathroom, sobbing about demons trying to take my body. I'd researched symptoms during library time, paranoia, hallucinations, word salad, making sure I hit every checkbox for a psychosis diagnosis. 4 months into my act, the foster agency contacted my parents, saying my severe mental illness was beyond their expertise. They threatened to sue my parents for placing a dangerous kid without disclosure. My parents had no choice but to take me back. But when I got home, they showed me my new, safe space, a basement turned into a locked, soundproofed cell with cameras in every corner. They called it a therapeutic environment to protect me during my episodes. The door clicked shut, the deadbolt slid, and I was alone under flickering fluorescent lights, surrounded by bare concrete walls painted sterile white. There was a thin mattress, a scratchy blanket, a plastic chair, a desk, and a portable toilet behind a screen. I sat on the bed, clutching Teddy's torn ear, and smiled. They thought I was crazy, but I was in control. They'd made themselves predictable, and predictable meant I could outsmart them. For the first few days, I kept up the act, whispering to walls, shouting at invisible tormentors, scratching my arms, rocking back and forth. My mom watched from the top of the stairs, her face a mix of disgust and fear. On day 4, Emily peeked down during lunch delivery, holding a small stack of bills, proof they were still paying her to lie. I memorized their routines: breakfast at 7:30, lunch at noon, dinner at 6 o'clock. My dad worked from home 3 days a week, my mom left for her bank job at 8:15, Emily was at school until 3:30, then at a friend's until dinner. The house was empty Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8:15 to 11:30 when Dad played golf. In my second week, I found a flaw in their setup: the soundproofing wasn't perfect. By pressing my ear to the heating vent, I overheard kitchen conversations. That's how I learned they were planning to commit me to a state hospital, already filling out paperwork claiming I was a danger. I had to move fast. That night, I staged my wildest episode, screaming about demons in the walls, throwing myself against the door. When Dad checked on me, I lunged at him, ranting about him being possessed. He stumbled back, terrified, and called what I assumed was a psychiatric facility. The next morning, paramedics arrived with my parents hovering. I went limp, muttering about shadows chasing me. They strapped me to a gurney, and as we passed through the kitchen, I saw Emily at the table, counting money. Our eyes met, and I saw a flicker of doubt in hers. The psychiatric hospital was as grim as I'd expected: locked doors, overworked staff, sterile halls. I leaned into my performance, flinching at nothing, begging nurses to stop the watching. They sedated me fast, but I learned their routines: understaffed night shifts, skipped checks for quiet patients, and a mandatory release after 72 hours unless I was an immediate threat. For 3 days, I played the part, taking meds, spitting them out when I could, sharing wild delusions in group therapy, staging dramatic but non-violent episodes. On day 3, I overheard my parents arguing with the doctor through the consultation room wall. Mom pushed for long-term commitment, but the doctor hesitated, saying my episode seemed stress-related, not dangerous. He noted the shoplifting was 2 years old, a minor first offense. My parents had no new evidence, because it was all lies. They had to take me home. Back in the basement, things had changed. They'd added a mini fridge and microwave to avoid interacting with me, plus coloring books and crayons, like I was a toddler. I almost laughed but kept up my vacant stare. That night, I heard them argue. Mom wanted another facility, Dad worried about costs, and Emily asked if she'd still get paid if I was gone. Their control was slipping. 2 weeks later, Dad forgot to lock the basement door properly. I waited until both cars left, then pushed it open. Upstairs, the house looked unchanged, like I'd never left. In my parents' room, I found a folder labeled Emily's Statements, pages of coaching notes on what to say about me, plus payment records: $50 here, $20 there, $100 for the knife lie. I photographed it all with an old digital camera, then returned to the basement. In Emily's room, I left a note on her pillow: I know about the money. The next day, Emily brought my lunch, staring at me. "You're not crazy, are you?" she whispered. I smiled at nothing, whispering to my voices. She ran upstairs, crying. Everything shifted after that. Emily refused to lie anymore, screaming at our parents when they tried to bribe her. During one of Dad's work-from-home days, I staged a massive episode, collapsing and waking up confused when paramedics arrived. Alone with them, I broke down, showing self-inflicted wrist bruises, describing the locked basement and cameras. They called the police. Child Protective Services got involved. The basement setup, locks, cameras, a minor confined, raised red flags. I passed every psych evaluation, showing no signs of psychosis. The hospital psychiatrist testified my symptoms didn't add up. Emily admitted the knife story was a lie, revealing the payments. The court placed us with our aunt, who'd always doubted my parents' stories. As I packed my real belongings, no trash bags this time, I reunited Teddy's ear with his body. Emily apologized for everything. "I know," I said. "We'll be okay." We drove away from that house, and I didn't look back. It wasn't victory, it was survival. My aunt says I should feel guilty for faking a mental illness, but I don't. They taught me to lie to survive, I just did it better. Emily and I are healing in therapy. She's working through guilt, I'm untangling the toll of pretending to be crazy. Our parents lost custody for good. Last I heard, they're divorcing, blaming each other for their downfall. The foster parents, Martha and her husband, faced scrutiny after my reports added to their file of abusive discipline complaints. Now 17, I'm focused on school, aiming for psychology and pre-law to help kids like me. Emily, 12, is thriving, writing a blog about surviving family trauma. We have Friday movie nights, rebuilding the sisterhood we lost. Our parents' story faded, but their shadow lingered. A text from an unknown number in our hometown's area code chilled me. Nice story. Too bad it's not over. I showed my aunt, who called the police, but they said viral stories attract weirdos. I wasn't so sure. Then Emily got an email from our mom. We know where you are. Come home, or we'll make things hard for your aunt. At school, a woman claiming to be a family reunification specialist approached Emily, but she ran to her teacher. Security footage suggested it was Mom's sister, the one who'd lied about me. Our aunt added cameras, panic buttons, new locks. Anonymous CPS complaints accused her of neglect, all baseless but stressful. Letters arrived with photos of us, me at school, Emily in the backyard, each with a note, family is forever. You can't hide. Our lawyer advised against a restraining order, the letters skirted legal harassment. I carried pepper spray, Emily wouldn't go anywhere alone. Then, walking home from the youth shelter where I volunteer, Dad pulled up in a rental car, looking wrecked. You destroyed our family, he said, driving beside me. Get in. We're moving somewhere new. We can be a real family. I kept walking, gripping my pepper spray. We have a real family now, I said, my voice steady. He sped off when he saw a store camera. That night, our aunt told us our parents hired a lawyer specializing in parental alienation, claiming I'd manipulated everyone. They wanted custody back. I had a hidden ace, recordings from the basement vent, capturing them plotting to commit me, laughing about their lies, planning to punish me. I'd stored the memory card in Teddy's lining. I gave it to our lawyer, who filed for a permanent restraining order. The recordings were admissible, the judge was horrified. The story hit the news, parents who abandon teen over shoplifting seek custody. Their facade collapsed. Dad's job investigated him, Mom lost her PTA role, their church learned the truth. But they didn't stop. Fake social media accounts spread lies about us, Emily was shunned at school, our aunt got death threats. Someone tried breaking into our aunt's house, caught on camera but untraceable. Then Dad's business connections pressured our aunt's job, cutting her hours. Emily, though, had her own evidence, a secret blog documenting every payment, threat, and manipulation. We filed criminal charges, stalking, child endangerment, witness tampering. At trial, their lawyer called me a scheming mastermind who turned a minor punishment into revenge. But Emily's testimony broke them. At 12, she detailed the bribes, the threats, looking at them as she spoke. They said she was dangerous, but she just wanted to be loved. I showed the jury Teddy's sewn ear, explaining how I'd carried it, hoping to get my sister back. Guilty on all counts, probation, counseling, no contact until we're 18, and only if we reach out first. Outside court, Emily told reporters, we just want to be kids. That night, we ate pizza on our aunt's floor, watching movies like a normal family. Emily gave me a new teddy bear wearing a Big Sister shirt. To replace the one they broke, she said. We talked all night, rebuilding what we'd lost. The harassment stopped, their allies backed off. Emily's blog became a resource for kids like us. I kept volunteering, sharing my story to show trapped teens they can escape. A year later, I'm 18, in college for psychology and pre-law, advocating for kids in abusive homes. Emily, 13, speaks at schools about recognizing manipulation. Our aunt's job stabilized, the community rallied around her. We burned our parents' photos in a backyard bonfire, not out of hate, but to let go. Emily said it was about forgiving ourselves, not them. She was right. Then, during midterms, a package arrived at my dorm, a photo of me on campus, with Dad's handwriting, distance doesn't change blood. More followed, me at the library, my dorm window, each with notes like, family finds a way. A private investigator trailed me, Emily got manipulative texts from new numbers. Our aunt's job faced pressure again. I went public with a blog post, documents, recordings, everything, shared across social media. The response was massive, support, outrage, my parents' reputation in ruins. Their investigator quit, their community shunned them. Then Mom's sister reached out, apologizing. She documented their lies too, cousins, friends, others who'd stayed quiet until my post gave them courage. We sent it to their fertility doctor and adoption agency, who dropped them. But they played one last card, a letter to our aunt, threatening custody based on her financial struggles. I gave a journalist everything, recordings, documents, our story. The article sparked a national conversation about abusive parents and system failures. The IRS investigated their unreported payments. Tax fraud charges followed. Emily and I are safe now. She's thriving, writing, healing. I'm building a future, not just surviving. At college, I unpacked Teddy, the new bear, and a photo of us laughing at the bonfire, proof we made it. My roommate's normal drama feels like a gift. I'm not the villain or the hero, just a girl who fought to be free, who saved her sister, and who's learning to live, one honest connection at a time.